We don't want our many observers to miss out.
I tell you, it's the highlight of most months.
Mhm.
You're all set to go.
Great, thanks a bunch. All righty, meeting will come to order. Welcome to the December 20th, 2021 regular meeting of the West Hartford Commission of the Arts. My name is Chuck, and I am the chair of the West Hartford Commission of the Arts. This meeting is being conducted in a virtual format in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act as amended by Public Act number 21-2, which authorizes municipalities to conduct public meetings virtually. Members of the public can view the meeting live on West Hartford Community Television at www.whctv.org or YouTube/WHCTV5. The meeting is also being recorded for on-demand viewing and will be available on town's website for at least 45 days. Since we are conducting this meeting in a virtual format, there are some special rules and procedures that I need to cover before we begin. First, I ask all participants to mute your device when you are not speaking. If you wish to be recognized, please raise your hand and I will call on you in the order I see hands raised. If you are participating by audio only, or I do not call on you and the debate is ending, then unmute your phone and let me know so I can recognize you. Second, all speakers must make a good faith effort to state the person's name and the title at the outset of each occasion that such person participates in the meeting. Third, all votes must be taken by roll call unless the vote is unanimous. Fourth, a reminder that if any participant has a problem with connectivity, you should immediately call, who do we have them call? Call you, Dave?
Yes, they would call me.
Okay. Whose phone number you were provided earlier. He will let you know when we will recess while the problem is being resolved. If it cannot be resolved quickly, we will ask you to call into the meeting using the phone and participate via audio only. Let's proceed with the roll call and go on to the agenda. 1 second. I'm just looking at I'll do the roll call real quick. Karen Bachman is not here. Matt Bragg?
Here.
Javier Colon?
Here.
Chuck Corsi's here. Latanya Farrell?
Here.
Nancy Hoffman? Nancy is here. Carol McCabe?
Here.
Marilla is not here. Sue Rothenberg is here.
Here.
Okay, we are rocking and rolling. Let's see. Let's go to the agenda. Okay, you've all got a copy of the minutes from last meeting on December 15th.
Yes.
Hey, Sue, I just got a message from you. Do you need the link or is that an old message?
Old message. Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, I just wanted to make sure. If anybody doesn't have any changes to the minutes, can I just see a show of hands? All those. Wait. First of all, actually, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'm a
Sue. How about Sue makes the motion? Latanya make seconds. And since our secretary's not here, I'll keep track. Is anybody object?
No.
Okay, great. So that motion, meetings are approved unanimously. Sue, motion, and Latanya, second. All right, cooking with gas. Okay, first let's go on to old business. Nothing new with St. Bridget. I do believe that the town is going to be having a committee that is going to take suggestions and requests on uses at St. Bridget. Nothing has happened with that yet. I expect that probably in shortly after the first of the year, we'll hear more about that in the new year. Hob, do you have anything update on your endeavors for the music event?
I not much. Just another conversation that I had with my friend about a week ago. He is looking into reaching out to some more of his contacts that can help pull something like this off, but nothing unfortunately to report as of yet.
Okay, cool. We'll keep us updated. I'm going to go a little bit out of order. The proposed Pride Art Walk. Barry Walters met with the Park Road Association. They were very excited about doing that art walk on Park Road. He owes the Playhouse some more information and kind of, some of the marketing materials, what can be done. And as soon as I get those from Barry, I will share it with this commission, and we'll see what we can do. Anybody have any questions on the art walk? Oh, Karen's here. Hey, Karen. You're on mute. You're still on mute.
There, okay. Sorry, I'm having a lot of technical issues tonight. When is the Pride Walk? What's the designated time period or season or?
It's probably be in June around Pride, during Pride Month.
Okay,
He doesn't have a specific date yet in mind. It probably would be the several weeks, if not the whole month. And it would take place on Park Road. That's really all I know about it. He's still fleshing out the plans. June will be here, thank goodness, before we know it. These things have a way of really creeping up on us. And, I've told him that, the sooner we can get information, the sooner we can help them in terms of marketing and maybe pointing them in the right direction to raise some money. Any other questions? Okay. I also, when we talked, I know last meeting we talked about banners in public areas. I did a little research. Those are not something that the town pays for or puts up. There's a cost that's associated with it. The attachment that I sent out to all of you kind of explains all that. Obviously, we have to adhere to their signage, the town signage regulations, if that's something that we wanted to do. But again, seeing that there's no Matt, how's our budget? How's our finances look? Get
Unchanged.
unchanged. Okay, excellent. Just want to check. Make sure we didn't get that anonymous gift. Seeing that we don't have funding for that. It is something that maybe the collaborative might want to take an interest in. And if they want to do that, obviously we'd be happy to help in any way we can. We just can't pay for it, but we can help them look around or suggest some fundraising targets.
I need to ask another question.
Sure.
Because they were interested in how the collaborative was interested in how did the banners get determined as to who's up there and when it's up. And I noticed there was an announcement about new banners going up. There was some kind of contest or selection process, and they listed it's photography, I guess, going up on those banners.
Yep.
So is that what the application you sent us to look at and is that what it's referring to?
Yeah, I mean, that would be a bigger process. The first step to do is they would need to contact Renee McHugh.
Who? Renee? Okay.
And tell them that this is something they're looking to do. And then that kind of gets the ball started.
Okay, and she would know costs and other things if they were interested in, no.
No, the town does not produce them. These are something that would have to be produced independently. The town, and I believe there's a fee to hang them because they have to get public works people out there to hang them. It's not just throwing up a sign. They got to be.
It's kind of
installed.
like the banner at the green there, it sounds like.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a fee to hang it.
Yep.
Yes. And they probably have specifications that you would know about.
It's the
And-
specifications are all on the document I sent over about what their size are.
Mhm.
I believe
Okay.
it's on there. But she's the contact person to get that done.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure thing. Thank you, Karen. Good questions. Does anybody have any other questions on the banners? Okay. So let's move to the discussion here about public displays and signage in town hall. And hold on one second. I just want to make a note. I'm taking minutes. Okay, so the town hall. We talked about this a little bit at the last meeting. I don't think there's ever been a policy, or in recent memory, there's never been a policy about what can be put up in town hall. A lot of, in terms of plaques, photos, art, signage. It's kind of been, by happenstance where things are put and why and when. And then another thing is that there is no policy in place to remove certain things. Some of the things that are up are, they're very, they're wonderful and they're very appropriate, but some have a shelf life that probably has expired. So what the town is looking for us to do, and this is just on art and things that would be displayed on the walls, they're looking for us to come up with a policy on what should be the criteria, what should be allowed up, how long should it be up, who decides how long it should be up, and who decides what should be put up. There's a lot of things going on because right now there's no policy. So I took a look at some of the questions that we would need to address in this policy. In no particular order. If I think that since we don't have, and the town is looking for us to help them with this, perhaps it should be this commission that decides. Since we're going to go to the trouble of writing, this policy, maybe it should be us, probably the most important group, to decide what gets posted or what gets displayed in town hall. So before I go any further with that, I'm interested to hear what you all think about that. Do you think that's appropriate for the decision makers to be? And I'm sure the town manager and the town council are going to have some say over this also. But as the kind of the first line of, maybe it's like we bring to the town council and they kind of give it an up or down vote.
I would agree. That makes sense. That we should be the decision makers.
Does that make sense with everybody else?
It does.
Karen, does that make sense with you? Does this mean so?
I'm not sure, because it would mean an application process, probably some kind of way that we regularly review who wants to do this. And it's an ongoing work for us to take on. So I just think we should think through what are all the pieces of it. I think it's a good idea, basically. But it's bigger than just like looking at an agenda item, coming up with a policy and then moving on. It's ongoing.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the type of questions I want to hear. And I agree. We don't want to be the West Hartford Commission of Arts in Town Hall.
Right.
Yes, Carol.
And good point, Karen, too. I guess it would depend too on how long we keep it up, right, in town hall. I mean, if it was going to be once every, 6 months, it's not such a big deal. But if you're rotating it on a more regular basis, then it does become a lot.
Yep. Nope, I agree. I was, well, first of all, any other thoughts on what Carol and have?
Is it, would it be possible to have if folks wanted to submit this for it to go to the town council and then we are the ones to approve as opposed to doing all the processing of the applications and all of those things? Or is there maybe a subcommittee that can maybe handle that side of things so that it's not as cumbersome? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think what they're looking for us to do it. They don't, I don't think they have the bandwidth, and I know they don't have the desire to do it. That would be helpful. I've got some thoughts, but I saw Matt, you had
Yeah.
some.
Yeah, just a thought that obviously, if they're looking to us to write the policy, I think they're not really interested in
Yeah.
actually carrying it out. But I think therein lies the power that we have here. Is like we could write the policy to fit what's a practical process and a manageable process for this committee to handle without it getting out of hand. Like we could, determine, how long do you think stay up? What's the frequency of meeting and making these decisions? So if we have some measure of control over those policies, we can avoid, painting ourselves into a corner where we've got now this cumbersome amount of work and process for the committee to handle.
Yep. I was thinking that, maybe we only accept applications once a year. So it's not a ongoing thing where every agenda we have, things coming up. Oh, somebody wants to, submit something. We could have, and if that's not frequently enough, I think it should be fine. Because it's not like there's people banging down town hall's doors to post stuff. What they're finding a lot of times when, and the library experiences this too, is sometimes when people are settling a loved one's estate who has died, they're looking to donate things. They may have something that they think is historically relevant to West Hartford, and somebody drops it off at town hall. Hey, we wanted you to have this. We didn't want to throw it away. That happens a lot. But we could look at maybe doing something on the 1st of January or in the 1st of July. And actually, one of the ways that we could we could have a subcommittee of our commission that could actually take a look at it and then bring back recommendations, up or down. Because then it gets into the criteria. We have to, if the town was going to accept everything, they wouldn't need us. So some things may not be appropriate. If someone wants to donate a beautiful oil painting of their Aunt Millie, that might not be appropriate for town hall, as much as we all love Aunt Millie.
Can you remind me what the process is, or what, if you've learned what the process is or what it has been up to this point? Because I know pretty much all of my 3 kids have had, their artwork at some point hanging in town hall, and the teacher would let us know, and we would all go and make sure we brought our child in to see their artwork up in town hall. So that had to happen somehow, and I'm just curious if they've shared with you how that's gone so far.
Yeah, that's the only thing I know of that has some sort of process, and I think that's something that would let us off the hook, and we could do, just put some process to that. That's all handled by the school, the public schools art department. The only problem, though, is sometimes a couple of years they haven't done it. So you've had art stay up there for several years. Other years it's been up for a year and then they do it again, the following year. So I think that's an easy one where, we maybe say, on July 1st, we'll take, application submissions for new art from the schools. And again, we're not, I think we would approve anything that the town, the public school art department would recommend, because they go through a similar thing. But just to have that process in place that we know that everybody's going to have a year up, and then the following year they do it again. But that's an excellent point. The other thing, Hav, is that a lot of times, other than that, there's really no process. If you look at there's a plaque in Town Hall that was after 9/11 that I believe the St. Peter Claver Church donated to the town. And I don't want to get this right because obviously it's a very special memorial. It's a day that impacted all of us. I'm not sure if it was West Hartford specific, or if there were name specifics on it. But that was, that's in the lobby. You've got a plaque that the Martin Luther King Day holiday speaker plaque that is there, which is very appropriate, I think. But it's kind of, when you walk into the town hall in the especially now during COVID in the atrium, you're kind of hit with a lot of different things. There's a trophy case that has trophies from past athletic contests, league championships, things that may not be at the high schools or whatever. So I think it's not only what we would accept, but where it should go. You know what I mean?
Maybe we need to do a survey of what's there, because I'm thinking of there must have been a process for that. It costs a lot of money to just make this display. It's beautiful photographs. They're black and white. They're all the same size, and it represents different citizens in West Hartford. But some of them are more prominent kinds of people, like a town historian is in one. I know that.
Those are gone. Those are all I know what you're talking. There was an art display of people in town.
Yeah, and it's still there. It's been there forever.
It's not. I think it's down. I think that was one of the things that precipitated this discussion, because those were up for 10 years.
Okay, because that was an expensive display. Somebody had to put up some money, or there must have been a grant for those beautiful photographs. Somebody had to take them. They were studio. They weren't candids. So there must have been some decision making kind of thing. That's what I'm saying. I don't really even know what's up there, and where do things go when they are displayed? Is it all the halls? Just the lobby, or?
It can, it's all over town. Nancy.
I have a question on who would hang them, who would hang them, because that's not a simple job, and you could ruin the walls if they're not hung properly. But I don't know that we individually want to hang for everybody.
Nope. No, thank you.
No, I think with respect to the school stuff, the art teachers are the ones that handle that. And with respect to the students and the schools, maybe there's a dedicated section. I don't know if it's on the second floor or the third floor, that over kind of by Tom Moore's office, that that corridor kind of is where I remember seeing things on the wall. Maybe that's kind of the dedicated, we dedicate the third floor as the floor where the schools can put their artwork, and maybe it's one school gets each school gets a different whether it's, a semester, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So, in the fall semester, it's Charter Oak, the next semester it's Smith, and then the next year it goes to another school. So, it's not a burden on every single art teacher, all of the time, but it's something that they just get a chance to share the kids' artwork every few years in town hall.
I think they have a process though. I think the art department, the art department doesn't?
The school art department does. Yeah.
Yes, so that we wouldn't have to dictate to them one school each month or one school.
Well,
Right.
I think what we would want to do is fold whatever they would
would want,
like the
yeah.
process into ours.
Right.
But Karen, excuse me. I think you have an excellent suggestion, because unless you spend a lot of time at town hall, we don't know what we're working with. We need a field trip
Mhm.
to go and check it out.
Mhm.
What is everybody's? And I think this is important if we're to do a good job for us all to kind of take a look at it. What maybe I think the appropriate thing for us to do is I'm going to circulate. I know don't like emails, but I think in this case, in terms of, oh shit, that becomes a meeting. Excuse me. Ah,
Good thing you're taking the minutes.
yeah. Let me talk to Dallas in the Corp Counsel's office to see, because maybe what we just do is we have it a special meeting, and we post it. Just say, on whatever day, the Arts Commission will be meeting at Town Hall to survey existing arts and culture displays in Town Hall. And if some of the public want to come along with us, hey, I don't think so. They're not ramming down the interwebs to try and get on this call. So I don't think they're going to come to Town Hall. But that's fine. If we have visitors, that'd be great. Okay, so, but then we're going to need to email around to figure out what the best time is and coordinate that with the town clerk, Essie LeBreau. And obviously, we need to wait and do this after the first of the year.
Can we just do it at our designated next meeting? I know the idea of meeting in Zoom is to make it accessible for everyone. And I don't know how people feel, but a town hall that is deserted at night pretty much, and we're all masked, is a fairly safe town hall compared to in the daytime when there's lots of people there. I don't know, just use it
Yeah,
regular
but then we're asking town staff to come overtime to, they go home and from their jobs at 5 or whenever, having to have someone come in. I think it would be better if we try and do this during the day, but you're absolutely right. Who knows what the town policy is going to be, or what, the state of Connecticut policy is going to be in 3 weeks on this thing. I doubt that the town hall will be, I don't think we're going back to shutting down businesses or whatever, but masks, and right now you're required to wear a mask in town hall. But I think just for the convenience of other folks that we would need, town hall closes at a certain hour. There are other public hearings going on, but I don't know if it would be appropriate just for us to go in there and kind of lurk around. You've got other people doing work. The custodial team is in there getting the place ready for the next day. I think it'd be more appropriate if we went during regular business hours.
We couldn't do it we couldn't have our meeting there and do the formal meeting part on Zoom? Even we could all be in the same room, but turn our computers on. I don't know, I'm just trying to be creative.
Yeah.
That we're still on Zoom, and so it's still accessible to the public. But we're in the same room, and before the room, we take a walk, before we get to the room.
But then that walk is part of the meeting. Then we need to bring our computer. Yeah, I think just to make it easy, it's going to be, let me talk to the town attorney and see what we can do. But I want to make this easy for everyone, and obviously I don't want to overburden folks with, an additional meeting. But maybe this could substitute for a meeting in January if we don't have anything else that's really pressing. But I do think it's important that we all see it with the same perspective, so that we're all kind of looking at it at the same time. That actually leads me to another thing, and obviously, we're sorry tonight is Nancy's last meeting. She'll be going on to bigger and better things, but we really appreciate all her input. She's always been provided valuable input, and she's here. She always comes, and we appreciate all the hard work that she's put in, and really appreciate her time and effort. In talking with Mary Fay, the Republican leader of the council, and with the mayor, Sherry Cantor, the name of Ginny Kemp will be presented to the council to fill Nancy's spot. It just so happens that that Ginny is a photographer. You might have read about her. She had her own she had her own display at the Noel Webster House a few months ago when she went out and took photos of everyday heroes during COVID. So might be timely to have her come on board on the commission, because that's kind of her area of expertise. Yes, Carol.
Chuck, I don't know if you remember, but I mentioned her initially when we were.
Yeah.
I think she's an excellent choice. I did see her exhibit there, and she does a lot of photography in West Hartford and Hartford, like at the Hartford Capitol and everything.
Didn't you? I think you got Pat, your husband, a photo for his office that she took.
Yes, it sits behind him when he's on Zoom in his office. You can see of the Capitol. Yeah, she's.
Well, see, Carol.
I think she's a great choice.
Sometimes I do listen to you. That's why, when I ask folks, for recommendations, I mean, she's somebody I've known Ginny for a long time, but I just didn't think of it. And she's also, as an unaffiliated voter, she meets the minority representation statute for the town.
That's great. She'd be a great addition.
Yeah, apologies to Matt and Hav. We can't seem to find any good dudes to join us, but men seem to screw up everything anyway. So I think we're better off.
But thank you to Nancy. Sorry to see her go, but it's great meeting you. And
yes, thank you, Nancy.
Thank you. To be on it. Interesting.
So why don't we do this? We'll look at trying to take a field trip sometime in January. Is there anybody? And I know, if we do it during the day, that's inconvenient because, many of you, I mean, we're all working, but is that going to be something that really is going to be hard? Latanya, I'm thinking of you at school. Is there a chance that you could get away for a bit during the day?
Yeah, I mean, if you can give me the day ahead of time, I can make it work for sure. For sure. Just I need the heads up.
Okay. Anybody else that has any special kind of like, I just can't do this time, or I can't do this week, or we'll get into that once. I'll talk to Essie, and before I shoot out an email to everybody, let me know if there's some, a block of days that don't work or whatever. But we'll make it work, and it shouldn't take too long. Yep.
Hey, Chuck, when are we looking at doing this? Is this like what's your time frame? Because there are some times, like I know that I have the Martin Luther King long weekend off that Monday. I'm available if the town hall is open, right? I don't know if it's open or not. I don't know.
It's open, but it's open for that MLK presentation that they do.
Right. But maybe we can walk through on that day, so I wouldn't have to take off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I'd like to do it in January.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. Okay. So I took some notes on some of the other things that we talked about. And, I have a feeling that when we're walking around, you know, we can, that'll be a good time to discuss things. It's going to trigger some thoughts in our head. But then the other thing to keep in mind, you know, not only, you know, the art displays on the walls, the signage in town hall is absolutely awful. In terms of a directory, I mean, it's very hard to get around town hall, especially how the floors are. And there's no uniformity. So that's going to be something we're also going to recommend. And that's like a one-time deal. You know, we think the town should have a more uniform display. I mean, just as a for instance, if there's like a blood drive going on the day, you know, on a certain day at town hall, the signage for that usually is, you know, a piece of copy paper with a piece of tape on it stuck to the wall saying blood drive this way. You know, it would be good if the town could update their lobby so that there's a digital board that can change every day. The library has a great one. But you know, just something to think about. I'll let you guys, I think it's best that you guys take a look at it. And we all see it before we do that. So before I move on to the next, the rest of the agenda, any other questions on the art displays and the like? Okay.
Nancy?
Oh, Nancy, I'm sorry. I've got my agenda blocking you all.
Okay, I just looked up Martin Luther King and it's January 17th. And that's also that evening, your commission meeting. But that's the date, January 17th.
Okay. Well, maybe, you know, I don't know if we can meet on that day with, well, we can't meet this way because the town is closed. That's, so we're gonna have to move that date. That's one of those Mondays. I think Washington
Yeah.
President's Day is gonna be another one we have to move anyways. But maybe, you know, I don't think we're gonna have anything really pressing. Maybe we can have this be our tour will be our January meeting and we just won't meet at night on Zoom. I'd like to see all you guys too. It'd be fun to get together.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, unless anybody has anything else on old business, we'll move on to quickly to community committee updates. And we can actually we can do two of those the partnerships. Marilla is not here. I don't know if you have anything to add, Sue, on partnerships.
Whoops. I do not. Sorry, I didn't realize Marilla was going to be out and I didn't check with her.
Oh, no worries.
Sorry.
I can give a
All
quick
right, thank
update. Just on, you know, as you guys all know, that the West Hartford Symphony and Ballet Theater Company partnered during the West Hartford during the holiday stroll. I don't know if any of you guys went to the holiday stroll, but it was fabulous. There's at least it's the largest attended stroll I've ever seen. You know, West Hartford Center looked like you know, Midtown Manhattan in Christmas. I mean, the sidewalks were bustling, lots of kids, lots of activity, lots of stuff going on the streets. It was great. It was great to see so many, especially young families, out and about having fun. But the Symphony and Ballet Theater Company did several performances, you know, little minute vignettes in the lobby of Town Center, thanks to the generosity of the Signage company that owns that building. So that was a great example of collaboration between two great arts and cultural organizations in town, both members of the collaborative, and something that we can build off of next year. But it was great, and I know the choir sang, right? Right, Karen?
No, we did not. We were not part of that event. We're not taking on events that are not clearly defined by COVID guidelines. Like we didn't sing at the Athenaeum this year either. So we're not officially taking those kind of events on,
That's
but
smart.
we are going to do a collaboration. It's coming up. I can speak to it when you're done with talking about the stroll.
Great, great. Okay, nothing new on communications. I don't think there's anything new on artist outreach, unless you guys have anything you want to add, Hav or Latanya.
No, not at this point.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
Let me go back then. Chuck, let me go back to the partnerships.
Oh, okay, sure. I'm sorry.
The West Hartford Symphony Orchestra and the West Hartford Women's Chorale have a big partnership going on for the West Hartford Symphony's sort of spring. They always have something either in late March or early April, their spring concert. So we are partnering with them in a major concert on, I think it's April 10th. You'll hear more about it because there'll be more publicity about it, but that's been in the offing for 2 years.
Great.
And then COVID delayed it. So we will be having a joint event with them. And we'll be singing a major work with them. And I think they'll also be doing some other things. So it should be pretty exciting.
Excellent, excellent. Marilla, what are you doing here? We gave you the night off.
Sorry, I had one last commitment with, with my music school that I couldn't get out of, but I'm happy to be here. Just couldn't miss telling everyone happy holidays.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Thank you, Marilla. And while your timing's good, I just gave a little update about your collaboration, the symphony and the ballet theater companies. I don't know if you had anything you wanted to add to that.
It was wonderful. It was something that brought a nice crowd and big smiles on everyone's faces. The kids were magnificent, and it was really, really nice to see the collaboration happen.
That's great.
Yes. So thank you for helping us find that spot. It was really, really lovely. The acoustics worked beautifully for a quartet.
That's super. That's super. Hopefully we'll do that again next year. Or, we now know that there's a nice little venue like that can be used.
Definitely.
All righty. Okay, moving along. Matt gave us his ready. Don't believe that no report on events. Karen, can you give us an update on what's going on with the collaborative?
Yeah, we made our second big collaborative event. I mean, our attempt. And the first one being when we first were dealing with COVID and approaching legislators and looking for some support. The second one, the meetings have been happening regularly, but they happen every other month. So this is an off month. I mean, we haven't met, we're almost 2 months away from a meeting. But we did make an attempt to try to put together a joint press release that had mixed success. It was a pretty big effort, and everybody's events were on there. Anyone who was doing an event for the, including the symphony and the ballet. Anybody we knew in the collaboration who was doing an event in the so-called holiday season, starting with like November 15th, I think. There were lots of them, and it was kind of fun to see it all put into one place. But unfortunately, the media didn't seem that interested in picking it up that way. They preferred to publish each of our individual events as they were coming along. So that's what I mean by mixed success. Some of us sent the article out to our constituency, to our email list. So like that kind of could have been successful. Maybe more people came to the Art League, had a lot going on. Maybe more people came to the art show, or perhaps more people went to the Noah Webster, or maybe a few more got tickets to do the holiday shows at the Playhouse. So we'll try it again. We'll give ourselves more lead time, and we'll try to figure out how more effectively to get that out. I mean, even if we write something that each of the organizations agree to send out to their e-lists, that's several hundred people. each of us
Absolutely.
have, you know, a couple hundred people on our list. So so-called friends, you know, and people we put out in our newsletter. And it's not that hard to do. We were just a little crammed for time, but the collaborative is moving into the second iteration of officers. We decided when we set it up that we would switch every 4 months, maybe, or 3. I'm not sure. Maybe 4 would make more sense. So we have a rotation schedule, and somebody's taking on the major leadership, the chair, and taking that over from Tracy. Tracy's moving off. She's staying, of course, in the collaborative, but we'll see. That's a way to try to make it not too much of a burden for any one organization. And so there's 3 new people kind of taking the helm, and then when they're finished their several months, then another 3 will take it on. And so we're hoping we can kind of keep it moving, because we were kind of dependent on Chuck's leadership when we first got started. And now we're trying to figure out how to make it be easy for the organizations to be part of. So we'll see how successful that is. So we're moving into the spring and other things to tackle.
That's great. No, I think it's, you know, for a long, long time, decades, you know, lots of people have tried to get all the arts and cultural organizations to work together, and it's never worked. Now you guys have a, you know, format, you have a structure. I think it's great what you guys are doing. You should be all congratulated. And I thought, you know, Ronnie Newton posted something.
Not the collaborative piece, not the long press release with all the events. She said she was going to, I think, but then she didn't. She chose to do it individually. So you did see stuff about each of the events.
That's fine,
because that was in there, but
probably none of those would have showed up unless you guys did that release. So that's good.
well, maybe that could be. It's like how many times you need to hear it, you know? So that's possible. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, but it's a nice thing to see, and we're not checking each other's calendars before we start anything, but it's nice to see where your event is sitting in like a seasonal thing, to see who else is doing what on your weekend or something like that. We also we're talking about it. We have it on our website. It's very easy to have a little button that you hit to hear about the collaborative, and it goes right to the collaborative website, which is a nice website. And then at the website, you can then click to learn about each of the organizations and what their website is saying is going on. So it's a sort of low cost, good thing to do. So we're working on it. We're trying to collaborate on what's useful for all of us and what's beneficial and what's good for the citizens, how to know more about what each of the organizations are doing.
Excellent. Progress, not perfection. You guys going in the right direction. That's great. Okay. Any questions for Nancy? We've already talked about the holiday stroll. Does anybody have anything they'd like to bring up for new business that we can discuss at our next meeting? Okay.
Well, I guess as soon as you know any more about how this town is going to be accepting input about how to use the St. Bridget property that currently exists, and then what other kinds of, they're looking for input about plans for the use of the new facility when it gets built. That would be helpful, because people, knowing I'm on this, have asked me, people in the other arts groups. And you mentioned it at the beginning of the meeting, but it would be helpful for us to be able to know that, and maybe for us to show up too if there is a meeting.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, we will. If you want, I kind of have a little email folder that has, because I've been approached. I mean, earlier today, Terry Szymanski from Community Theater, she asked, and I told her what I knew, but said, you know, we'll keep you up to date. But if anybody reaches out to any of you, if you want to share that email with me, or you could say, hey, you know, forward it to me and copy that person, you know, forwarding this along to, you know, our commission chair, who's, you know, keeping an eye on this, and we'll make sure that arts and culture, that'll be fine. Because that should happen. I believe it will happen. You know, knowing there's not going to be a grand auditorium that everybody, for something like you have at the schools, but there may be rehearsal space. I think that, might be and there might be a small performance space, maybe, something a little, similar to the size of the Playhouse, not necessarily for big productions, but for rehearsals and, small intimate performances with not a lot of, technology involved. Who knows? I mean, it's not up to us, it's up to the town. But just looking at, site requirements, because everything that goes on at the Elmwood Community Center is going to need to go in this building.
Right.
And I know that, Marilla and the Symphony, they have a huge need for storage of their.
So do we. So
Yep.
does the West Hartford Women's Corral.
So that's, that's something that we want to keep handy. So if you have any suggestions, or if you come across people that have any suggestions, just send them our way, and we'll keep a running tab.
Good.
Okay. I'm going to turn it over to WHCI to see if we have anybody that is probably just riveted to the edge of their seat watching this and would like to add a public comment. Do we have anybody that'd like to say anything?
We have nobody on the line.
Shocked. I am shocked.
I'm always so sad when I hear that.
Yeah. All righty. Well, I think that's it. Unless anybody else has anything for the good of the group. Again, I want to thank Nancy, for her trailblazing work being part of the inaugural class of this group. When they write the history of West Hartford again, maybe 300 years.
And we'll hang the document in town hall, right?
Absolutely. After it's approved. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure to get to know you. I think
Thank you.
one of the benefits of volunteering is getting to know folks that you otherwise wouldn't know.
Well, you had one meeting in person and I was not there. So I've actually not, except for Carol and Marielle, have not met anyone in person.
Yeah.
But it's been fun and I appreciate the opportunity and good luck.
Thank you so much, Nancy.
Nancy.
Thanks a bunch. And wish you all a happy and joyful and safe and peaceful holiday season.
Stay
And
well.
I'll get back to you on the time for that field trip to town hall.
Great. Thanks, Chuck.
Here.
All
Thank
right.
you. Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you. Happy New
No
Year.
adjourning, right? No objections?
No objections.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Good night.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Holidays, guys.